Well, the NBA draft is this week, Thursday night, and suddenly there's a shocking thing going on for the Cavaliers. They actually have a draft pick. This is the first time since 2015 the Cavs will have a pick in the draft. And even you go back to 2015, they had a low first-round pick, and they traded down to the second round. It was not a lot of excitement going on. But this time the Cavs have the 8th pick in the draft. But I was kind of looking at some things that said, I wonder how many players on the Cavs' current roster even were drafted by the Cavs. I guess you can count LeBron-James because he was the first pick in the 2003 draft, and the Cavs did take him, but you know he's on the roster now after a side trip of 4 years to Miami, so whether you want to count him or not, but he's one. Then the next one you have is Tristan-Thompson. He's left over from the 2011 draft. That's the same draft that the Cavs took Kyrie-Irving. You know, obviously one of the best drafts they've ever had. The tricky one is who's left over from 2015, and the answer is Cedi Osman. He was picked that year, and he hung on to his rights for a couple of years while he played in Turkey, and then he just came back to the Cavaliers this season. And I happen to think, by the way, Osman's got a chance to be a pretty useful player for them. So, but really, when you look at that, you go, boy, they don't have too many picks. But part of the reason is when you have LeBron James, you tend to have an older team. Draft picks are used to bring in other players, and you know you're trying to win now, win now, win now. Now with this draft coming up, by Thursday night the Cavs will have no clue what LeBron's going to do. I've even been talking to some of his quote people that are there, and they're certainly not being tight-lipped about it. And again, but they don't really know. And part of the deal is LeBron tends to wait to see where other players go. So before he makes his move, I mean, if you're in a strong business position, it makes more sense to get as much information as possible before you make your decision rather than get out in front and go somewhere else. And NBA rules say you can't even talk to another team until July 1st. So, of course, those are sometimes broken, but, you know, here we are on the 24th will be the draft date. Nobody's going to be talking about that. All right, so Kobe Altman's going to be looking at the draft, trying to figure out what to do. You know, there's always trade possibilities. But one of the things, here's I think what the big takeaway point for me in this draft. The Cavs cannot go into it saying, I wonder how this draft pick at number 8 will impact what LeBron does or doesn't do. They need to just find the guy that they want and pick him. And also, some of those things would fit in anyway. All right, LeBron James comes back. Guess what? The Cavs need a young point guard. LeBron James goes somewhere else. Guess what? The Cavs need a young point guard. Hence, they probably need a young point guard. And, you know, two of them that are mentioned, one is Collin-Sexton from Alabama, and then the other is Trae-Young from Oklahoma. I happen to prefer Young, but those are two things that you could watch. Will they go get a guard? You know, there's been some rumors about the Cavs trying to trade for Kemba-Walker from Charlotte. Sort of a dangerous proposition because Walker is in the last year of his contract. If you trade something significant for Walker and you don't have some sort of commitment about him staying, you could end up just have him here for a year. I mean, here's, all right, bad scenario. You trade the number 8 pick and something else for Kemba-Walker. He comes here. He stays a year, and then he leaves. And furthermore, LeBron James, he doesn't even re-sign here. So you end up making a terrible trade that way, trying to kind of guess what LeBron is doing. Or maybe, let's go with my guy, Trae-Young. If you happen to like Trae-Young, you take him, and you just see what LeBron is going to do. So that's my advice to the Cavs. Make the pick that you want to make. Don't worry about LeBron. And from a very kind of a basketball fan standpoint and somebody covering Cleveland sports, it would be fun to actually be at a draft where the Cavs have a meaningful pick.